Okay, Rabbi Say, good evening everyone, as we welcome in Aaron Swade, Saba, Ruvain Pollack, Baruch Ian, Yisrael Fisher, Barish Gesserman, Marshall Castle. Not sure who this is. Oh, that's Menachem Yamansky. Shimon Klein, Jay Siegel, Mel Zachter, Yitzi Fuchs, Stephen Holtzman, Irving Fishbaum, Shimon Deer, Dr. Guy, Shelley, Moshe Lehman, Mo Kushner, Eddie Chazan, Ilya Shutman, Yitzi Muller, Abe Arbach, Michael, and here in Shul we have back Rich Lenner. He comes back right away. Doesn't miss a beat. Ruvain Shannon, Michal Abram, Reb Kramer, and Gedalia Engel, David Helfgott on Kol Lashon. David Helfgott gets a Mazel Tov on the birth of a grandson, so Mazel Tov, Shemizoicha Lachnisa Labrisa Shel Avram Avinu Bismanai, and Shalom Fogel has just joined us as well, and we are holding, as we're sponsored by A.B. Spry and family, for nachas from the whole family, and by and why don't you close your phone?
I'm showing you. Hey, you gotta mute those guys.
And by Michal Avram, that everyone should finish Shas with Gesund. We are holding on Daf Mem Zayin Amid Beis, 4 lines from the bottom. That would be 47b4, not before, but b4.
Right now we're at 47F.
And Marshall is back, having done tshuva, probably fasted the whole day today.
Fast as I could.
Tanan, Aval Amru, we said that even though, if let's say I buy from Marshall is convertible, and I give him the $20 for it, all right, 15. I give him the $20 for it, even though I didn't do Mashiach on the car, and therefore I don't own it yet. But if I gave him the money and he backs out, there's a curse. So the Gemara says, it says in the Mishnah, Tanan, Aval Amru Misha Para Midora Mabel, the one who punished the generation of the flood, who asid lepara, he is destined to punish Memisha Einai Aymed B'diburai, someone who doesn't keep his word. So, Iyamid Bishleima Mois kindness, that my $20 acquires the Fashlepadika convertible. Mishum Hachi, because of that, Koi Ba'aval, that's why he gets a curse. Aval Yamid Mois saying in kindness, if money doesn't acquire, why should Marshall get cursed? Aval Yamid Mois saying in kindness, Amai Koi Ba'aval, why is there a curse? Says the Gemara Mishum Dvorim, because he gave his word. So the Gemara says, Ubedvar mi kai ba'aval, is there a curse just because he gave his word? Vatanya, Reb Shimon Aimer, Afal Pisha Amru Talis Kaina Dinazov, that if I'm going to buy from Irving a talis for a golden coin, so we said that if I make Mashiach on the talis, because that's the merchandise, then I have to give Irving the gold coin. But ve'ein dinner zav koine talis, just because I gave Irvin the golden coin, I don't get the talis yet because I have to make Mashiach on the merchandise. Mikol makom kach halacha. Even though this is indeed the law, aval amru, but they said, Misha para me'anche dara mabel, the one who paid retribution to the people of the flood, u'manche dara flood, and the people of the generation of the dispersion, u'manche sh'daim v'amayra, and people of Sdom v'amayra, u'mitzrayim b'yam, and the Egyptians at the Red Sea, pretty cool, who asad li para, he's destined to punish memisha eina oimed b'diburai, somebody that doesn't keep his word. However, v'anoisei v'noisim b'dvarim, but if they are only doing business with verbal agreements, without any without any money exchanging hands, loikana, there is no acquisition at all. V'achayzabai, and in this case, if Irving backs out, ein ruach hachamim noiche imenu. The sages are not pleased with him. That's literally, they're just not pleased with him. But there's no curse. So how could you say that because of words there's a curse? So the Gemara says, no, not words alone. Words accompanied by money, where I give Irving the gold coin, where I give Marshall the $20, there's going to be a curse of Misha Para. If there's money that accompanies, there's cash that accompanies the commitment, then there will be the curse. However, words without accompanying by money, like Kaibaval, it's just ein ruach hachamim noichemen, just the sages aren't pleased, but then there's no curse. Now, if you remember, we had a machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish whether money acquires or only Mashiach acquires. So the Gemara says now the Gemara says we have a pasuk and a Mishnah, actually a brisa. We have a pasuk and a brisa, like the opinion of Reish Lakish, that money doesn't acquire biblically. You need to have Mashiach. As the Gemara proceeds to explain, Amar Rav Kral Masnaisa Messiah Leila Reish Lakish, a pasuk and a brisa is a proof to Reish Lakish, who holds that Mashiach is kaina, money alone does not acquire midaraisa. Kra, now this is a very interesting proof. Kra dichsiv, we need a scoundrel. All right, let's for a change. Let's pick Marshall. To pick Saba would be Asagas Gvul. A scoundrel shemoichel akvada enkvada machel. But anyway, and Marshall, you just have the right face for it. I'm sorry. Rich, some things never change. Some things. Yeah. Rich says he slips right in over here. He says he's not surprised for a minute that you didn't do tshuva. So kra dichsiv. So here, Marshall is lying about something, and the pasuk gives a multiple choice of what he's lying about. Here he lies to his friend. Now here the pasuk is telling us that for this lying under oath, because Marshall, when he does things all the way. So this is not just talking about a white lie. This is talking about lying under oath, right? So he's going to have to bring an asham, a guilt offering. So it says, V'kichesh ba'misa, he lies against his friend. In this case, that friend is Shelley. V'kichesh ba'misa, because, Marshall buttered up Shelley with some chili. So, v'kichesh ba'misa, he lied against his friend, b'pikoden, about a deposit that Shelley left him, oy b'sesumas yod, or a loan, oy b'gazel, or he stole, and he denied stealing, oy oshak esamisai, or he withheld payment from Shelley for a job that Shelley did for him. Keep it to yourself, Marshall. So the Gemara says, now here, the Gemara doesn't go, it's so interesting, the Gemara doesn't go into it in length. We have to add lib over here. But the Gemara says that in order to be chayiv for this Osham, he has to be denying something real that he has, that like a pikadon, like a deposit. Deposit, he has something, a koshel eliyo of Shelley's. It can't be talking about a loan, because a loan was given to him and he was allowed to spend it. So he doesn't have anything. So that's not similar to a deposit. That's not similar to an item that he stole. So the Gemara says, to make it more similar, the Gemara says, Sumas Yad. What's the Sumas Yad? Amar Rav Chisda kagain sheyichud loy kli la'al va'asai. This is, for example, that he promised Shelley gave him a loan, and he promised Shelley collateral. His convertible. But his convertible is he never gave it to Shelley. The convertible is in Chicago. He just promised the convertible. And then he denies it. So again, that's something which is similar to a pikadon. And the same thing, Oshak, where he withheld the pay to Shelley for a job that Shelley did for him. Shelley desanitized his house, and I don't want to tell you what it smelled like, right? So he desanitized his house, and Marshall promised Shelley his convertible. So again, says the Gemara, it was something that was real. He designated a utensil, for the wages that he owed him. Now, when the pasuk comes back and says, after denying these things, if he sinned and he was guilty, he returned the theft which he stole, or the wages which he withheld, or the deposit. But it doesn't say the loan. The pasuk doesn't say it by the loan. Why? Because Shelley never made Mashiach on the car. So therefore, he wouldn't be chayiv and ashim for it, because you're only kind it with Mashiach. My time, mishum de michsira Mashiach. Now the Gemara is going to ask in a minute, if that's the case, that Shelley didn't make a Mashiach on the car, then for the wages he didn't make a Mashiach on the car either. The Gemara is going to ask that momentarily. Well, say that since the pasuk goes over by the wages, and we said it's the same thing where he gave him collateral for the wages, so you see that you don't need Mashiach. Says Gemara, by the wages, it's talking about that Shelley took the car from him, and then left it by him. So there, Shelley did make a kinyan on it. So then the Gemara says, but then it's another case of pikadon. I know pikadon. So the Gemara says, trey gavnei pikadon. It's two types of deposits. One is a straight deposit, and one is a deposit result of withholding the wages. Says the Gemara, Ihachi, if that's the case that it's talking about where Marshall gave him the car and he returned it to him, so then by the loan also, Marshall gave him the collateral and then Shelley returned it to him as a deposit. Ihachi sesumas yad nami lahadre, v'look like kigain shenatlu emenu v'chazer v'fkida yetzli, where he took it from him and redeposited by him. Says the Gemara, Ihadre kra, if the pasuk would have said sesumas yad loy to yufta v'loy siyata, then we could answer this way, and therefore we wouldn't have a question and we wouldn't have a proof. But hashta the loya hadre kra, we have to have a svara. Why didn't it say the case of a loan? It's coming to tell you that by a loan, even if the car was promised as collateral, but since Shelley didn't do Mashicha, and only Mashicha is kaina, Marsh will not have to bring Ashim. Says the Gemara, Usasumas Yad Loya Hadre Kra, the pasuk doesn't go over the loan. How do we know to apply everything which it says above to which it says below? Because it says, anything that he swears about, falsehood. So you see, it groups them all together. That he also has to return the loan. Says the Gemara, but since the pasuk didn't say the loan outright, it's coming to tell you, since in the case where Shelley gave Marshall the loan, and there was collateral, but Shelley never made the sheikh on the collateral. If he denies the collateral, he's not going to be chayv and ashim, because without Mashicha, you're not kaina. So that's a raya, Reish Lakish is raya, that only Mashicha is kaina, Mois is not kaina. Masnisa minalan. Where do we see this in a brisa? The Tanya, Nisana lebalan. If Marshall has money of hektish, and he gives it to the bathhouse attendant, now therefore, when he gives it to the bathhouse attendant for the right to come into the bathhouse, there's nothing to do Mashiach on. And since there's nothing to do Mashiach on, there it must be that it's finalized with money. So there we say that when he gives it to him, as soon as he gives him the money and the money goes out from Hektish, so Marshall commits Me'ila. V'amarav dafka balan hu deloy mechaser Mashiach. It's only by the bathhouse because there's nothing to do Mashiach on. What's he going to do? Mashiach on the mikveh? And Mashiach on the bath? There's nothing to do Mashiach on. But if it's something else, the michzera Mashiach, that's lacking pulling, loimal, just giving the money alone is not binding. Ad the mashich. So you see that money alone is not kaina. It's the Mashiach that's kaina. Says the Gemara, as the Gemara asks, Gedalia, could I tell you some water?
Let me get it, it's easier.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Says the Gemara, Vatanya, Nisana Lissaper, if rich, was also a troublemaker. Nisana Lissaper, if rich gave a coin of hektish to the barber, Moal, he commits Mila. But over there, we could have said to make the deal binding, Rich might have to make Mashiach on the scissors. and say, and as he pulls the scissor to him, that would be a commitment that the barber has to give him a haircut. From the fact that he doesn't have to do Mashiach, doesn't that show that the money itself is binding? V'saper haboy lemimshak tisparis, he should have to make Mashiach on the scissors. Says the Gemara, no, here we're talking about a goyish barber. A goyish barber, there's no kinyan Mashiach. Kinyan Mashiach, we learn out from the pasuk because it says miyad amisecha, from a Jew. A goyish barber, no. He doesn't have Mashiach. Says the Gemara. Thank you very much. Nice and cold. Tanya Namihachi, we learned likewise, Nisana Lisapar, if he gave, Marshall gave money of hektish to a barber, or Lisapon, or to a sailor, or Lechol Bale Umanus, or let's say to a tailor, Loimal, he doesn't commit Mila ad Damashach until he takes in his hand the scissor, or the needle, or the row. So, what we learned, that there's Mila when you give it right away, Kashin Adadi. If it's a goyish barber where there's no kin Mashiach, then there's Mila right away. Kan B'Safer Yisrael, there he has to make Mashiach, Shema Mina. That's a good proof. And now we're going to bring proof to the law of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says that Midoraisa, money is kind, and not Mashiach. V'chein Amar Rav Nachman, this is going back on Rabbi Yochanan's statement earlier, not on what we're just saying now. V'chein Amar Rav Nachman, Dvar Torah is kindness. Money is kindness. Ubadka Levi b'masnise, and Levi checked the collection of prices, Ashkach, and he found proof. Nisana Lisitain, if one gave a coin of hektish to a wholesaler, a sitain is a wholesaler that sells to many retailers. So Nisana Lisitain mal. Now over there's no Mashiach yet, because the wholesaler delivers the stuff piecemeal. And he would only acquire a Mashiach when he gets the whole amount. So there's no kinyan of Mashiach. It's only kesef. And you see that he's mal right away. Elakasha l'Reish Lakish. That would be Shver on Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says, look, that's going according to the sheet of Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon holds kesef is kind. Amalach Reish Lakish Hamani Reb Shimoni. I'm only saying according to the Rabbanan. 2 lines from the top of Mem Chesed Beis, as we moving along right now in Hazav. Wow, how many dafim Hazav have we learned already? Unbelievable. We've learned already 4 blot in Hazav. That's Mem Daled, Mem Hey, Mem Vav, Mem Zayin, Mem Ches. This is a 5th blot in the Hazav already. That's good going. Aval Amru, we said that if Marshall, even though if I didn't make Mashiach on a convertible, but Marshall reneges on the deal after I gave him the $20, what a steal. Aval Amru, you didn't see the convertible, that's why you don't. Aval Amru, Misha Para B'Dara Mabel, the one who cursed the generation of the flood and the Dara Floga and the generation of the dispersion and the Sodom V'Amora will curse somebody who doesn't honor his words. So here the question is, if Marshall doesn't deliver it, will they tell him you're going to get a curse, or will they curse him? Which one is it? Says the Gemara, they let Marshall know, you know that if you don't give Rabbi Weiss the convertible, you're liable to get a curse. Rava says, no, Meilit Laitin lay. They curse him. They don't tell him, you're going to get in trouble. you're deserving of a curse. They actually curse him. Could just hear Rav saying, it's about time. So Abaya says, don't worry, Marshall, it's not you, it's your Gilgal. Abaya Amar,
Gilgal convertible.
yeah, Abaya Amar, Ode Modina late, they only infirm him. They don't curse him. A prince amongst your nation you shouldn't curse. And the Mefarshim say that it's talking about all Jews. It's just Diber B'Haiva, but you're not allowed to curse any Jew. Rav Amamelit like Tinulay. No, we curse him. The only person that we says L'Yisayr is Ba'amcha, Ba'osei Ma'isa Amcha, when he behaves properly. But if he reneges on the deal, zap him. Amarava says the Gemara, Amarava minah, how do I know that we zap Marshall? Listen to this case. The Reb Chia Bar Yosef, Yov le Zuzei Amilcha. Reb Chia Bar Yosef, Shalom, gave Reb Chia Bar Yosef money for some salt, from some salt reserves. L'sayfa yakar milcha. At the end, before Reb Chia Bar Yosef delivered it, the price of salt went up. Now Shalom didn't do Mashiach on the salt. So here the question is, Reb Chia Bar Yosef wants to know if he could back out. Also, the Kamid Rabbi Yochanan, he came before Rabbi Yochanan. Amalei, so he says, Zil havlahu, go give it to Shalom. V'ilai, and if you don't, then you're backing out after he paid you. Kabal Allah mishapara, accept upon yourself the curse. Now, v'i amit odue medina lei, if it means that we inform him, the Rabbi Yochanan have to inform the great Reb Chia Bar Yosef of the curse. Reb Chia Bar Yosef paraduehu, do we have to inform him about the curse? He said to him, if not, you should be cursed. Reb Chia Bar Yosef, Asi L'Kpula Leila Tus Rabbanan. Is it possible to say that Reb Chia Bar Yosef would do something to get the curse of the rabbis? Ella, what happened was, it's not so simple. Shalom bought from him 50 pounds of salt. And he gave Reb Chia Bar Yosef a down payment. Now, Reb Chia Bar Yosef knows that the amount of the down payment, that salt he has to give him. But now that the price of the salt went up, he wants to know if he has to give Shalom the whole thing, or only the part that he gave him the down payment on. That's the question. El Reb Chia Bar Yosef, a Ravan hu diyavle. Now we're going to see that the word a Ravan is used sometimes as a down payment and sometimes as security or collateral. Here it's being used in an unfamiliar way. It's being used as a down payment. El Reb Chia Bar Yosef, what happened over here is Reb Chia Bar Yosef, a Ravan hu diyavle. Shalom gave him a down payment. Who's savar? Reb Chia Bar Yosef's opinion is kenegdai hu kaina, that Shalom only acquires the amount of the down payment. That he has to deliver him, because otherwise there's a mishapara. But he thought that now the price went up, he could back out on the rest. V'amalei Rabbi Yochanan, no, keneged kula hu kaina, he acquires everything. Itmar, a Ravan, a down payment. Ravam a kenegdai hu kaina, he acquires only the amount of the down payment. Rabbi Yochanan a keneged kula hu kaina. Meisvei, hanoisen a Ravan lechaveira. Now here, again, I'm dealing with Marshall. Hanoisen a Ravan lechaveira. What happens over here is that I'm buying the convertible for Marshall. Marshall is very leery. I'm sick of you saying you're going to buy it already. Let me see you really buy it. I'm trying to get rid of this clunker already for 40 years. So what happens over here is, if I give security to Marshall, and I tell him, Im ani chayzer bi, if I back out, ervoini machalach, you could keep this Samsonite set of luggage. It's a really nice Samsonite set of luggage, right? Black with gold trim, really very nice. And I tell him that if I back out, you could keep this Samsonite set of luggage. V'hala amalai, and Marshall tells me, Im ani arzabi, if I try to back out on giving you the convertible, ech balach ervainech, I'll double you, like in backgammon. He doubles me, right? So sheshbet for you. He doubles me. He turns the doubling cube, and he says that if I don't deliver the convertible, I'll give you 2 sets of Samsonite luggage. Niskaimu atnoim. The din is that these conditions are upheld, and therefore, if I don't give him the money, then he gets the Samsonite luggage. If he doesn't deliver the car, then I get 2 Samsonite luggages. Div Rabbi Yossi the Tamei, the Amar Asmachta Kanya. Asmachta Kanya means that a person's statement is considered binding, although he never thinks that it's going to happen. This is the issue about betting on horses. Because when a person does so, he thinks that he's not going to lose. So it's considered an asmachta. So here also, I never thought that I'm not going to deliver him the money, and he never thought that he's not going to deliver the car. But even so, Rabbi Yossi holds asmachta kanya. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer dayoy sheyikna keneged ervainai. It's enough that he gets only equal to the security. So that means if, let's say, I was promising to pay Marshall $1,000, so I have to give him the amount of the value of the luggage, or he would have to give me, if let's say, not a car, but let's say he's selling me 100 bushels of wheat, he would have to give me the equivalent of 2 sets of Samsonite. Amar Reb Shimon Gamliel, Ba'amed Devar Mamurim, Bizman Sha'oimeloi Ervoini Yikain. My security should acquire. But if, let's say, Marshall is selling me a house or a field for $1,000, and I gave him a down payment of 500, so here that's an Eravin of 500, Kana, the din is that I acquire the house or the field, and I have to give the rest of the payment. Now the Gemara says, so there you see that this opinion is clear, like the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, that a Ravain keneged kulai, that a down payment acquires the whole thing. So the Gemara says, my lav, even though it was said by real estate, my lav hu adin limitaltalin, the bidistama kanilu lekulu, just like where by real estate he acquires everything, So by metaltalin also, if let's say I was buying his car, I gave him a down payment, I get the whole car. Says, well, look, metaltalin b'distama loikani. If the words yikain were not used, we only get connected the down payment. Says the Gemara, Maishna, why is it different? Simple. Karka is acquired b'kesef, b'shtar, u'b'chazak. With money, with a deed of sale, and we're making some kind of an improvement. So since karka is acquired midoraisa with money, says the Gemara, karka dibikaspa konile mamish. So since kesef is doraisa by karka, so konile lekula. When he gives a down payment of 500, he acquires the whole thing. Metaltole, but movables, where when you give money, it only creates the curse of mishapara. It doesn't acquire midoraisa. It only makes it that it gets a curse. It doesn't acquire everything. It only acquires keneged the down payment. Okay, we'll stop over here, Rabbi Isai, and we will learn now the Mishnah Yomis for Masechtas Nazir. Remember, tomorrow night is Shabbos HaGadol Drasha 5784. So come with men, women, children, boys, and girls. And anyone else? I shouldn't say that nowadays. That could literally mean something.
It means I might show up.
Yeah. That would be a pleasure if you would, but that just talk is cheap.
So is my convertible, apparently.
Yeah. Can't get rid of that clunker. Rich, it's great to have you.
What? I sent 3 pictures over.
Wasn't so bad, right?
That's great.
No?
Great, it's good.